Welcome to another edition of the Hoop Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson, and boy, man, has it been a crazy week of Red Raider basketball. The Red Raiders opened up, or actually, I guess it was the week that was a crazy week. It was, a lot of games in a short time. And Texas Tech beat Kansas last Saturday, and then followed that up by beating undefeated number one Baylor. So they beat number 6 Kansas at home, then went to Waco and beat number 1 Baylor. And then beat Oklahoma State by 20 points just a couple days after that on Thursday. Then on Saturday, they went out to Manhattan for an 11 a.m. game, almost an empty gym. And they got beat by Kansas State, let's be honest. Kansas State came out and they played like they were hungry. They were 0-4. They had some tough losses, though. Kansas State's better than that record. And, I said it. In a rapid fire, I expected Tech to split those games because 4 games in that amount of time is just difficult. It's just a very, very tough schedule, especially in the Big 12, that is this year, always in the Big 12, but this year maybe more than ever. It's just you have a lot of, good to very good teams in it. Not many bad teams. I know Kansas State, if Tech and Kansas State played several times, Tech would win, 80% of it or something, if not more. But coming off those games, those victories, tired legs, all that, and they try to work in TJ Shannon, who had missed 5 or 6 games, and he was very rusty. So it just didn't go well. Obviously, they lost, I think by double digits. It was close, but for a long time. And at the end, Kansas State pulled away. But the Wildcats out hustled Texas Tech. They got a lot of long loose balls. They made a bunch of threes, and Texas Tech just struggled really. Really, other than Bryson Williams, who had a very good game against Kansas State, everybody else struggled. They struggled hanging on the ball. They struggled getting the loose balls. And they deserved that loss. It was a bad loss. But it doesn't totally offset what the Red Raiders were able to do. The fact they beat Kansas, Baylor, and then Oklahoma State back to back to back, that was good. Oklahoma State ended up going to Baylor and beating them too. They beat the Bears. So, which brings up another question: does that dilute the victory over Baylor? The fact that they lost another one, maybe so. And how good is Kansas? Well, I still think they're pretty good. But bottom line is Texas Tech is a contender in the Big 12. They're 3-2 now in the Big 12, and they're 12-4 overall. Their losses are all been to good teams, basically all top 25 teams other than Kansas State. They lost to Providence, who has been in the top 25 for a long, long time. I don't know if they still are right now with the most recent poll. They lost to Gonzaga, and they, without several other players, Tech didn't have several other players. And, Gonzaga beat them by double digits, which there's no shame in that, on a neutral floor. They lost to Iowa State, though Tech only had 7 players. And they played the Cyclones, and it was there at the Hill, to within 4 points. They could have won that game if they had made their free throws. And now that's who they play again, is Iowa State. They play them Tuesday night. We'll get the exact time for you here. 18 Texas Tech hosts number 15 Iowa State, 8 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday in Lubbock at the USA, and the game will be televised on ESPNU. This is a really good idea or example of just how good the Big 12 is this year. Texas Tech and Iowa State are a combined 5-5 in the Big 12. Tech's 3-2, Iowa State's 2-3 in the Big 12, and they're both in the top 20. Come on. Iowa State has a losing conference record, and they're 15th in the country. That's how good they are. So, we can argue about the validity of the poll and all that, but bottom line is 2 good teams battling in a very, very, very good conference. And this is a big game for both of them. If Iowa State can get the sweep over Tech, that would be huge. And Texas Tech is looking to bounce back from that Kansas State game. So, I think you could look all keys to the game, here, guard this guy, do that, whatever. Bottom line is Tech has to come out with a much better effort. Hopefully they've gotten their legs under them a little bit after, a tough stretch where they didn't, obviously, against Kansas State. I'm not saying that's an excuse for losing. I'm just saying they were obviously not their normal selves in that game. And then they got to start figuring out the rotation, because I feel like it was a much easier job for the coaching staff without Terrence Shannon. With him back in there, who's he taking minutes from? And Malik Wilson only played like a minute or two against Kansas State, and that's not good. He needs to play more. Daniel Bacho has to play more too, I feel like, if he's capable. I know he's coming off, COVID, and he obviously has had symptoms and his minutes have been down, but he was looking really good before that happened, and they need him to get back to that form. They need that rim protection. They need that guy that can finish around the rim, dunk on people's heads, not just flip it, hope, a layup goes in. And then they just got to figure out with McCullough and Adonis Arms, who looks like an all Big 12 player, Terrence Shannon, Malik Wilson. They got to, Davion Warren. They got to figure out the rotation and give the proper minutes for them to win, because they need this victory again. Texas Tech takes on Iowa State, top 20 matchup, 8 p.m. Tuesday night at the USA. The game will be televised on ESPNU. So I can't wait to see what happens. I'll come back and do another video between the next two games, see what, talk about what happened against Iowa State, because it's a pivotal game for both teams. It really is. But Texas Tech playing at home, they should be able to protect their home court despite Iowa State being a good team. So we'll see what happens. With that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.